Joined by Yannick Naud from Sturgeon Capital. I suppose when your finance minister says this is the worst crisis since 2008, it probably is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the outflow of capital has been incredible. I mean, they lost more billion of dollars of investment in few months compared to an entire 1 year last year. So all in all, the situation is difficult. You have to keep in mind that even before the crisis, Russia was not growing as much as they used to grow. Russia could be in recession this year.
It does have a lot of foreign reserves, doesn't it? And
yes.
So it has a certain amount of ammunition. Well, I mean, do you look at that and think, when is that going to run out?
No, I don't think it's going to run out, because in one hand, the price of oil is above 108, I think, on the Brent, and therefore, in terms of selling of oil, the amount they can selling abroad, as long as they can keep selling abroad, is enormous. So they did, since the beginning of the year. It's true that they did postpone some bond issue. They can't do it forever. But so far, it's not an acute problem in terms of the amount of reserve. It's not like Ukraine having only 2 months of reserve.
Well, we'll come on to that. But I mean, when will the Russians in the street actually start feeling the pain?
Probably. I think they already do feel the pain, because if the currency is going down, it's mean more inflation for most of people. If there is no growth, it's mean probably less jobs or less new opportunity. And therefore, of course, they
What keeps people in the Russian stock market then in that case? Because my original question at the beginning of the programme, is this time to get out? Because you kind of would, wouldn't you?
Well, if you look at valuation alone, if you look at price-earning ratio, the MySEC, the Russian stock market, is one of the cheapest stock market you have, because in terms of multiple, you have very, very low multiple. Built into the stock market multiple, you have very, very pessimistic view. And on top of that, you have some specific company that you can't find in other places. I mean, if you want to invest in
what?
Energy, mining, you will need to have some investment in Russia. Having said that, the prospect since the beginning of the year has been pretty terrible.
So it's a brave person, wasn't it, to say, well, this is cheap, I might go in there. But some people do, presumably.
Well, I mean, in the beginning of the year, you have, for example, Lenta, which was a big supermarket, Russian supermarket, did an IPO here in London. I think they raised $950 million. So it was, you have sizable company. Metro was supposed to float one of its cash and carry business in Russia. It was postponed. It's probably be postponed for quite some time now. So there is interesting business in Russia. Some of them not at all related to the government, purely domestic market, only for consumer, which on themselves have a lot of merit. It's just that the environment is very negative right now.
Okay. Let's talk about Ukraine. I mean, talk about a world of pain. It couldn't be worse, could it, really? I mean, a massive interest rate hike overnight, high inflation, a falling currency. Now, I don't know about you, but when I see people sort of raising interest rates, I think, well, when are they going to do it again? No,
I mean, it was the last resort. I mean, the currency was completely out of control. I think it's done more than 20 or 30% so far this year. Obviously, it creates a lot of problem in terms of inflation, in terms of banking system. You have company borrowing in a hard currency and having revenue in local currency. Those companies will probably default. All in all, the situation is terrible. The central bank have, as I said, very few ammunition in terms of reserve. Even if there's a prospect of civil war, it is unlikely for the IMF to be able to lend 18 billion. So all in all, the situation is much more volatile today compared to 2 weeks ago.
Yannick, no, stay with us, will you? Thanks very much indeed for the moment. Now, let's look at the American market.